How's it going, Talk for Us TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my preview for the Stoke City game taking place at the Bet365 Stadium on Saturday. Stoke off the back of a 3-1 win, very good result against Swansea. I think they're away from home in that one, so that makes that a little bit better. Unbeaten start of the season for them in all competitions, only dropping points with a 0-0 draw against Birmingham. So their spirits will be very, very high, unlike ours. Where we're going to be right in the doldrums, very, very down. Some good news though, like I've seen on social media that James Garner could be on his way back to the City ground for another loan, which is what we need really. We need that sort of ball-playing central midfielder, which we've lacked really with Colback and Yates starting. So hopefully that might start to see a bit of success coming to the City ground in terms of points on the board and that sort of thing. But, it's very frustrating time to be a Forest fan, very frustrating time to follow the club because it just seems like, we get in a new CEO, there's a buzz around the club, we're linked to decent players, none of the players end up coming to the club, and, on the pitch it's a shambles. Hopefully Houghton can sort things out. I think if we stick with Houghton and we give him the chance, I believe he can get us out of this, but it's hard to really in football give someone the chance when they've gone 3 games in the season without picking up a single point. I was thinking about this earlier on with my dad. We were talking about this on the way back from work. We were just saying that it's okay to have a manager who's a steady manager like Houghton. People call him a bit of like a steady Eddie, but if he's not getting you the points you need, why it's not working? And I really want it to work. I really want him to do well, but it'll be really interesting to see how the Stoke game pans out. I've got an inkling that if he loses this one, he might be gone. I'm not in the know or anything like that. That's just what I think. But we really, really need to book our ideas up, really need to look to improve things. And, Stoke are a very good side, got some very, very good players, a good manager in Michael O'Neill, when they came to the City ground in that awful game back end of Sabry's reign. They did an absolute job on us. They're an exciting side. Obviously, 3-1 win against Sunderland. Swansea is a very, very good, very, very good bit of football for them, if that's the right way to say it. Talking about Swansea, I wouldn't be against Steve Cooper coming in, to be honest, if he wants the job. And he did a decent job with Swansea, getting them in the playoffs I think in nearly every season he was there, he was in the playoffs. He's a good manager, knows how to work with youngsters. We've got a lot of youngsters coming through. He might not be the most attractive manager in more ways than one, but I think he could do a job if Houghton does go, to be honest with you. But he's still here, so we've got to back him. I think it was a bit off, really, with the fans singing the Sabri Lamouchi chant last night. That's just not really, it's very disrespectful. But, Houghton's our manager now, so we've got to back him, we've got to back the boys. In terms of Stoke's side, I did say they've got some very decent players. Sam Clucas is quite a solid player for this level. Tyrese Campbell, somebody who's got links to Forest in terms of his dad. I think it was Kevin Campbell played for us. Stephen Fletcher's a goal scorer who's been around this league for a very long time. They've got a really decent, well-rounded squad. They're a sort of team you would expect to sort of finish around, that gap, that 10th to probably 7th sort of area. But, they're a decent side, and with a bit of luck, they could push on a bit and maybe get themselves in the playoffs. In terms of this game, it'll be easy to predict a Stoke 2-1 win looking at the way things are going. But you know what? I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go with Forest 2-1 this time. You just look at the way things are going, and it's not great at the minute, but we can score goals, which is a benefit. That is a positive. That is something that's given me a little bit of hope. hopefully we can sort things out defensively. And in terms of the substitutions and the lineup, we really need to look at things and switch it up a little bit, shake up the pack a little bit. Maybe it's time for Samba to take a seat on the bench. He has been at fault for a couple of the goals. I think in terms of the midfield, you got to start someone like Fornah in this game alongside Yates or Colback. Both of them can't play because it's just too defensive, too negative. And it's okay trying to play negative, but if you aren't getting the results, if you're not winning games, if you're not, keeping clean sheets, keeping the goals to a minimum, what's the point in playing that way? So I think you've got to be a bit more, maybe a bit more progressive in the midfield. Maybe play Cafu in a bit more of a box-to-box, a bit more of a playmaker role rather than a sitting defensive midfielder like the two that we played last night. Then the three behind the striker, you've got to get that right as well. And if you're trailing, you bring on someone attacking for someone defensive. You don't make a like-for-like change because it doesn't benefit anything. You go again a goal down against Bournemouth, you take off your striker, bring on a striker. You go a goal down against Blackburn, you take off a winger, so you bring on an attacking midfielder, come winger, and you take off a winger instead of a defensive midfielder. It just doesn't really make any sense. I think if we can get those things right, then we could be on the way to doing something decent. I'm going to go 2-1 Forest. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to hope that we can get things sorted and, get our feet right. Moving in the right direction. I really, really hope we can do that. If not, it's going to be a very long season unless things get changed about. But in terms of the scorers for me, I think Zinkenagel's going to score again. I think he looks far too good to play for Forest at the minute. Without Zinkenagel, we could have been right in the mud last night because he got us. He kept the ball well going forward. He scored a brilliant goal. He looks like he's too good to play for us, which is always a brilliant sign to see that, but I'd like to see him score, and I think somebody else who will score to go along with him will be, let's say, Brennan Johnson. Nice to see Brennan Johnson play. But yeah, obviously the left back situation's a bit of a difficult one. I mean, Colback can play there at a push. Bong is back from suspension, so you would suspect him to start. But it's a real shame for Jordi Asaya to look decent, and then obviously had to come off with an injury. Jordan Gabriel deputised at left back, got a red card. Talking about left back, Finn back, is he going to get a start? I think he looked really, really good. He was one of the players who shone really last night for me. I wouldn't be against seeing him getting involved. But I think, you've got to switch things up. You've got to experiment a little bit, be a bit more positive, a bit more progressive. And I think if we could do that, then, we could be on the right tracks. If we don't, then we're going to be in serious, serious trouble. But yeah, like I say, 2-1 Forest. I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to be positive and hope that we can get out of this little mini rut that we're in. So yeah, don't forget, comment down below your scores, your score predictions, who you think will, start, who will, change from last night's, team sheet. And yeah, if you enjoy, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new around here. Let me know anything in the comments on how you think I can improve these videos. The way I talk, the way maybe do a little bit more research or whatever it might be. I'm not too sure, but I'm open to feedback down below. So yeah, thank you for watching, and please come on, you Reds.